Thank you so much, Father Larry. I'm so excited to be here tonight to share a little reflection of my faith with you. My goal is, if sharing my faith can make your faith sparkle even a little bit brighter this season, I will be really pleased with what I've accomplished tonight. Again, my name is Emily Gleason. My maiden name is Capron. I grew up in this parish. I'm here with my parents, Mary Ann and Dan Capron, and my husband, that handsome guy right there, Greg Gleason. We have 4 beautiful children together. They can't be here tonight, but they told me they hear me speak enough already. So here we go. I guess I'll start by saying a couple weeks ago, our 1-year-old figured out how to turn on the lights on our Christmas trees, and now that's his little routine. Whenever he comes into the house, he can't help himself. He toddles around and turns on the Christmas lights. And the thing that really struck me about this, I was thinking about it the other day, is our little John is 1.5 years old. He has no idea what the story of Christmas is or what it's about, but instinctively, he knows it's good and he wants in on it. And I was kind of thinking that even as an adult, knowing the story of Christmas, knowing it's about Jesus coming to connect a separated world to its creator at the expense of his life, it's still beyond my comprehension. But nevertheless, I instinctively want in on it. Tonight, in our second reading, I noticed Paul gave us some instruction on how to get in on following Christ, kind of telling us, let people know you're Christians by your kindness. It goes without saying that kindness is usually taken for granted. It's viewed as trivial. But our faith tells us that it's not. It's the way of our Creator and Savior of the world, not weak, but powerful. Mother Teresa once described the impact of kindness. She said that kind words are short and easy to speak, but they have a ripple effect. Have you ever been stopped in your tracks after witnessing Christ-like behavior in another person that's, not somebody in your own family? Every once in a while, you come across someone who just radiates light. To give you an example from my life, I used to work with an attorney who really walked the walk of Christianity. I knew he was a Christian by his kindness. I used to cover Thursday morning hearings for him and didn't realize until months later that the reason why I needed to cover him for him on Thursdays was because on Thursday mornings he would go clean up his church's homeless shelter. They had a PADS homeless shelter at his church. And I also learned that every summer vacation he would spend his time, instead of vacationing, he would go with Habitat for Humanity to build houses for other people. He is a devoted husband, father of 8 children, who always brought home cookies for his kids from the cafeteria at our work. And instead of busying himself with the latest fashions or the fastest cars, he busied himself with helping others. I'll never forget seeing him stressed out after a Habitat for Humanity trip about trying to figure out how to get a woman whose refrigerator had just broken, how to get her a new refrigerator. In short, he was Christ-like, which is the greatest compliment I could pay anyone. When Christians like this touch our lives, their kindness has an impact, inspiring others to be like Jesus. I think the reason why this is so fragrant and something that you just want to follow is that because it's the closest thing that we have to seeing God at work in our midst. Pope Francis recently said this: show his love. With great things? No. He becomes small with gestures of tenderness, goodness. So as Paul tells us today, let's let them know that we're Christians by our kindness. I wish I could stop right here and then just go back to my seat comfortably, quit while I'm ahead. But if I'm honest with myself, I screw this up all the time. Through my own self-absorption, lack of self-control, pride, insecurity, vanity, jealousy, my own sin. I've left the basic call of kindness. I've let it take a back seat to my own ambitions. This is why we need Jesus. This is why I want in. This is why I need in on Christmas. Jesus did not come as the Savior that everyone expected, to save them from oppressive rulers or governments. He came to save us from something darker inside our own hearts. A short prayer that I heard recently from a book called Hidden Christmas by Tim Keller is really on point with this thought. As Christians, we come to face with two realizations. First, we're more sinful and flawed than we ever dared believe. But second, at the exact same moment, as Christians, we realize we are more loved by God than we ever dared to hope. So if you don't mind me using this prayer as the most honest reflection of my faith, it's that I am more sinful and flawed than I can bear to look at sometimes. But at the exact same time, I'm more loved by God than I ever dared hope. I pray that each of you, in being here tonight and reflecting on your faith this season, feel a little weight lifted off your shoulders with the thought that you are more loved by God than you could ever dare hope. Merry Christmas.